This is another example to use the nested loop for printing the integers in a triangle shape. Okay, and this is the quarter of the diamond as well. Okay, so how to print this, this one, then on the second line 1 2, then on the third line 1 2 3, and then on the fourth line row 1 2 3 4. So there are 4 rows, 1 2 3 and 4. And how many columns are there? There are 4 columns, 1 2 3 4. Okay, you can introduce 5 columns. It's depend on the problem. Okay, so we want to print this pattern on the screen, on the console screen. So how can we introduce the nested loop for this problem? So we need a loop which shall outer loop which shall start from 1 till 4, because there are 4 rows. Okay, so you can start it from 0 in less than 4, or you can start it from 1 equal to 4. This will be the shape of the outer loop, and here you can see that we have started rows from 1, and rows are less than or equal to 4, and rows plus plus. Okay, and the inner loop shall be starting from 1 to 4, because we need to print 1 2 3 4. So therefore I suggest you to start it from exactly 1, not from 0, and then end it at 4. If you start it from 0, then you would need to add 1 into the column while you print the value of column. Okay, so to avoid any complexity, I recommend you to start the inner loop from 1 to 4. So here you can see that the inner loop has been started from column is equal to 1, column is less than or equal to rows. Okay, this is a logic that we have introduced, that we actually required to print this whole pattern. So column will always be start from 1. Column is always starting from 1. Okay, and will end with the value of row. In first iteration, for example, the value of row will be equal to 1. This is the first iteration, 1. 1 is less than 4. For example, we are here in this to print 1 on the screen. So rows is equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 4. Yes. Then the execution will come to the body, and in body for loop, the inner for loop will be executed. Okay. So inner for loop will start from column is equal to 1. Column is equal to 1. So column is now equal to 1, and column 1 is less than or equal to rows. So what is the value of rows now? This is 1. So 1 is less than or equal to 1? Yes, 1 is equal to 1. The execution will come down to the cout statement, and the value of column will be printed. So what is the value of column now? This is 1. Okay, and we will see 1 on the screen, and then space on the screen. Okay, then the second iteration will be executed, and execution will come to the column plus plus. So column was 1, now it will become 2. Okay, so condition will be checked. If 2 is less than or equal to rows, no, 2 is never less than or equal to rows. So therefore this condition will become false, and the body of the inner loop is now terminated. Means the inner for loop is terminated, and execution will directly come to the next line, which is totally outside of the inner loop, but inside in the body of the outer loop. Okay, so what will happen with this cout? Cout will print the end line. So it means the execution will order the cursor to jump over the next line on the console screen. Okay, execution will come again. Sorry, execution will come here to the rows. The update statement, rows will be updated to 2 because it was previously 1, so it will become 2. Now 2 will be checked against this condition. that if 2 is less than or equal to 4, yes, 2 is less than or equal to 4. So execution will come to the body of the outer loop here, okay, and execution of the inner loop will be started. So here the column is again initialized with 1, okay. So now column is equal to 1, okay, but rows is equal to 2. Remember, rows is equal to now 2. So delete this 1 and write it. Rows is equal to 2. Okay, so 1 is less than or equal to rows means 2. Yes, 1 is less than or equal to 2. So you know this C out will be executed as the C out is the body of inner loop. So we can also say that this is single line for statement. Okay, so what we will see on the screen the value of column, which is now equal to 1, and then space. So we will see here 1 along with a space. Then the execution will come to the column plus plus. So column is now equal to, previous value is 1. Column is, because we have initialized it with 1, so 1 is less than, yes, and condition will come here, column plus plus, so 1 will become now, 1 will become 2. So column will be updated to 2. Okay, so if column is updated to 2, then condition will be checked against rows. Okay, column and rows. So column is equal to 2 is less than or equal to rows which is equal to 2 again. Okay, so 2 is less than or equal to 2. Yes, 2 is equal to 2. So condition will become true, and this statement will again be executed, okay, on the screen. So what is the value of column now? The value of column now is 2. Okay, so we will see 2 here on the screen, okay, and a space along with it. Okay, then the execution will again come to the column plus plus. So column was 2, so now it will become 3, and condition will be checked against this. 3 is less than or equal to 2. No, this condition will become false, and execution will jump out of the body of the inner loop and will come to the C out statement and end. So what will happen? This will actually order the cursor to be jumped over the next line. Okay, jump over the next line. So cursor will be blinking here. Now the execution, because the body is now executed completely, so therefore execution will come to the rows plus plus. So rows was 2, so now it will become 3. So 3 is less than or equal to 4. Yes, 3 is less than or equal to 4. So execution will come to the body of the outer loop. Okay, so execution will come to the inner loop, and inner loop will start executing. So column is equal to 1, so we have initialized column again to 1, and then condition will be checked, column is equal to 1, and rows has updated value now 3. So 1 is less than or equal to 3, yes, condition will become true, and execution will come directly to the body of the inner for loop. Okay, so what is now the value of column? Column value is 1, so we will see here 1 on the screen. Okay, along with the space, we will see a space here as well. Then the execution will come to the column plus plus. So column will be updated from 1 to 2, and then the condition will be checked. 2 is less than or equal to 3. Yes, condition will become true, and execution will come to the body of the inner loop, and it will print the value of column on the screen. So now the value of column is 2. So we will see 2 on the screen along with the space. Then execution will again come to the column plus plus. Column will update its value to 3. So 3 is less than or equal to 3. Yes, 3 is less than or equal to 3. So what will happen? The body of the inner loop will again be executed. Okay, so the value of column will be printed on the screen. And what is the value now? Value is 3. So 3 will be printed on the screen along with a space. Now the execution will come again to the column plus plus. So it will update the value of column. It will update the value of column 2 from 3 to 4. Okay, so now you can see here in the condition the value of column is 4 is less than or equal to 3. No, so this condition will become false. And what will happen? The execution will jump out of the body of the inner loop and execution will come to the next statement inside the outer loop, inside the body of the outer loop. Okay, so this statement will be executed, which is NL. So it will order the cursor to jump over the next line. Okay, so there are no other statements, so the execution will straight away come to this line, you can see, and will come to the rows, and it will update the rows because rows have some increment operator here. Okay, so the value of rows was 3 and it will become 4 now. So 4 is less than or equal to 4. Yes, condition will become true and execution will come through this part and the body of the outer loop will be executed. Okay, this inner loop will execute again and column will be initialized with 1. Okay, so column will be equal to 1, which will be checked in the condition as well. So column is less than or equal to rows. Now the rows value has already been updated, so therefore rows is equal to 4 now. So 1 is less than or equal to 4. Yes, 1 is less than or equal to 4. The condition will be checked, and if the condition is true, so then execution will come to the body of the inner loop. So this is the body of the inner loop. Okay, so this statement will execute and it will print the value of column, column variable, on the output screen. So now what is the value of column? This is equal to 1. So it will print 1 on the next line here. You will see along with a space. Then execution will come to the column plus plus. It will update the value of column, which is 1. Now it will become 2. So then condition will be executed. 2 is less than or equal to rows, which is 4. So 2 is less than or equal to 4. Yes. Again this body will be executed and we will see 2 along with a space, and then the execution will come again to the column plus plus. It will become 3. 3 will be checked against this condition. Okay, rows. So 3 is less than or equal to 4. Yes, the body will be executed and we will see 3 on the screen along with the space. Then the execution will come again to the column plus plus and the value of column will be updated from 3 to 4. And this was 4 and this is become 4. Okay, so column will be updated to 4. So now the condition will be checked. So 4 is less than or equal to rows. Yes, 4 is equal to 4. So the body will be executed and we will see 4 on the screen along with a space. Then execution will again come to the column plus plus and the value of column will become 5. Okay, so this is now 5. Condition will be checked. 5 is less than or equal to rows. No, 5 is never less than or equal to 4. So this condition will become false and execution will jump out of the inner loop and will come to the cout statement, because this statement is not part of the inner loop. Okay, this statement is part of the outer loop, is in the body of outer loop. Okay, so this statement will execute and it will order the the cursor to jump over the next line. Okay, so the cursor will blink here, somewhere here. Now the execution will come again to the rows. It will be updated to 5. Okay, so condition will be checked then. 5 is less than or equal to 4? No. Condition will become false. This condition will become false. And execution will straight away jump outside the body of the for loop. So if there is any other statement here, that statement will be executed. So this is the whole illustration of the nested for loop to print out the pattern here on the console screen. Okay, don't be confused with these numbers, because these were the desired number. So this is actually the output that we will see at the end after execution of this nested loop.